Okay, so get this. Ready for a deep dive into a real doozy of a mystery?
Always up for a good mystery.
This one has been bugging people for over 70 years. It's the Somerton Man. You ever heard of it?
Oh, yeah. Somerton Man. Big one. One of those that just sticks with you.
December 1st, 1948, Somerton Beach, Adelaide, Australia. Early morning. Picture it.
Beautiful beach, I imagine. Peaceful.
Yeah, but not so peaceful that day. They found a man, dead, just slumped against the seawall.
Sounds ominous already.
And here's the thing, he was dressed to the nines. Suit, tie, shoes, all polished. Not your typical beach bum.
Not someone you'd expect to find, well,
Exactly. And get this, absolutely no ID, no wallet, no letters, nothing.
Makes you wonder if it was intentional, right? Like he wanted to erase his past.
That's what makes this case so intriguing. It's like he was a blank slate. But there was one clue, and it's a weird one.
Oh, I know where you're going with this. The note.
The note, tucked away in a hidden pocket. Just 2 words. Tamam Shud.
Persian, right. Meaning?
It is finished.
Spooky, huh? Yeah, like something out of a spy novel. It just screams mystery.
And here we are, 75 years later, and still nobody knows who this guy was.
A true enigma. So where do we even begin with a case like this?
Well, let's rewind back to that December morning. It's about 6:30 a.m. when a couple walking along the beach spots the body.
A public beach, right. So you'd think someone would have noticed him earlier if he was,
Yeah, you'd think so.
Yeah.
But there he was. Now, the fact that he was so well dressed, it just doesn't add up.
Right. It suggests he wasn't homeless or down on his luck.
And the lack of any identification, it's just too deliberate, almost like he wanted to disappear.
Which makes those small details the police found even more curious.
What do you mean?
Like the half-smoked cigarette on his collar. It's like he took one last puff and then...
And then what?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And then there's the unused train ticket to Henley Beach.
Another local spot.
Yeah.
So he had plans but never made it.
Exactly. It's these little inconsistencies that just make your head spin.
It's like a puzzle where the pieces don't quite fit. But going back to that note, Tamam Shud.
Torn from a book, wasn't it?
Yeah, tucked in a hidden pocket. Like, why even bother with a hidden pocket for just a tiny note?
Must have been important to him. Something he wanted to keep secret.
And that's where the book comes in. The police launched a huge search, and they actually found it.
The Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam.
Right, a rare copy just discarded in a car near the beach. It's like something out of a movie.
And that specific phrase, Tamam Shud, it's not just any random note. It's a line from the book.
It definitely adds a layer of literary mystery to it all.
And then there's the autopsy report. It just throws another curveball into the mix.
This is where it gets even weirder.
They found that the Somerton Man was in pretty good shape, probably in his 40s, no obvious health problem.
You'd think open and shut case, right? Natural causes.
Not so fast. His organs, specifically his spleen and liver, showed signs of damage, like he'd been poisoned.
But they couldn't actually find any traces of poison.
Nope. Nada. It's like he was poisoned with something undetectable. Or maybe the initial assessment was wrong. And to make things even more complicated,
Right.
no fingerprints, they ran them through every database, and nothing. This guy was a ghost.
It's crazy. Okay, so back to the Tamam Shud and the Rubaiyat. It feels like that book is the key to unlocking this whole thing.
It does, doesn't it? I mean, it's a book about life, death, the universe.
Big themes.
Yeah. And inside that specific copy, there was something else that really caught the investigators' eyes.
Oh, yeah, the code.
5 lines of seemingly random letters, capital letters, all jumbled up. WRGOABABD, something like that. No one has ever cracked it.
Not even the best code breakers in the world. Military intelligence, everyone's taken a crack at it. It's like a riddle that refuses to be solved.
Right. And it makes you wonder, what kind of message was he trying to convey? Was it a secret, a confession, a clue to his identity? We may never know.
It really is mind-boggling. But the book held one more piece of the puzzle, a phone number.
And this is where it starts to feel like a real-life detective story.
The number belonged to a local nurse, Jessica Thompson.
Okay, so Jessica Thompson. This is where it gets really interesting.
The police went to interview her, and she denied knowing the Somerton Man. But she was, how do I put this?
Jittery.
Yeah, she was visibly shaken, like she was hiding something.
Almost like she recognized him, but couldn't or wouldn't say anything.
It makes you think, what did she know? Was she afraid? Was she protecting someone?
And then you have her son, Robin.
Okay, so Robin. He had these unusual physical traits, particularly his ears and his teeth.
And guess what? The Somerton Man had the exact same traits. Pretty rare combination, too.
So was the Somerton Man Robin's father? Is that what Jessica was hiding?
Possibly. It definitely adds another layer of complexity to the story. Oh, and then we have the suitcase.
The suitcase?
Yeah, found at the Adelaide railway station. Eventually, they linked it back to the Somerton Man.
What was in it?
Clothes, a stenciling brush, a knife. Normal stuff, right?
Yeah, everyday items.
But here's the thing. No labels. Not on the clothes, not on the tools, nothing. Like someone went to great lengths to make them untraceable.
Again, with the erasing the past. It's like he wanted to be a ghost, even in death.
Exactly. So with all these weird clues, the note, the code, the nervous nurse, the suitcase, no wonder so many theories have popped up over the years.
Let's say everyone wants to solve the puzzle.
Right. And the timing, 1948, it was the height of the Cold War. So naturally, espionage was a popular theory.
Spy stuff.
Yeah, a secret agent, maybe a double agent, found dead on a beach. It's like something out of James Bond.
It's certainly a possibility. The Cold War was a time of secrets and spies.
And the evidence kind of fits, right? The lack of ID, the cryptic code, the potential poisoning, it all screams espionage.
But there are other theories too, right?
Oh yeah, plenty. Like the jilted lover theory, Jessica Thompson's reaction, those shared physical traits with her son. Maybe there was a love triangle gone wrong, a jealous husband, a crime of passion.
But where does the code fit into all that?
That's the tricky part. Maybe it was a message only she would understand, a final love letter or a confession.
Or maybe it had nothing to do with her at all. Could have been work-related, something completely separate.
Right, and that's what makes this case so fascinating. There are just so many possibilities.
Okay, so we've got spies, love triangles. What else?
Well, there's the more straightforward theory. Murder. And there's even a potential suspect. A local doctor.
A doctor. How does he fit in?
He knew Jessica Thompson, and apparently he had knowledge of poisons.
Now that's suspicious.
It definitely adds a new dimension to the case. Maybe the Somerton Man was killed to protect a secret, possibly even the secret of Robin's parentage.
It's starting to feel like a soap opera. But wait, I think you mentioned some even crazier theories.
Oh yeah, we've got some real wild ones out there. Some people think the Somerton Man was a time traveler.
A time traveler, seriously.
Yeah. They point to his seemingly perfect condition, those strange items in his suitcase, the unbreakable code. They say it's all evidence that he was from another time.
It's definitely creative. But I think I'm sticking with the spy theory for now. But the real question is, after all this time, will we ever know the truth?
Well, the investigation went cold for a long time. Jessica Thompson died in 2007, so any secrets she might have had went with her.
Another dead end. But didn't they make some progress with DNA testing?
Yeah, in 2009, they took another look at the Somerton Man's body, specifically focusing on his calf muscles.
Calf muscles.
Yeah, they were unusually developed, like he was a dancer or a runner. It was a new clue, maybe hinting at his profession.
Interesting. So they were looking for someone who fit that profile.
Right. And remember those unusual ear traits he shared with Robin Thompson?
Yeah, that was a pretty big deal.
In 2010, they tried to get DNA from Robin's daughter to see if there was a match. Unfortunately, it was inconclusive.
Another dead end. I guess some mysteries are just meant to remain unsolved.
It was definitely a setback, but then, a few years ago, there was a pretty major breakthrough. In 2022, a forensic genealogist named Colleen Fitzpatrick managed to extract DNA from some of the Somerton Man's hair. They ran it through some databases and found a distant relative.
Wow, so they finally identified him.
Well, they believe it's highly likely. The relative was a man named Carl Webb, an electrical engineer from Melbourne.
So, case closed.
Not quite. Here's the thing. Carl Webb was kind of a loner, didn't really fit the profile of a spy or a man with a complicated love life.
Another twist. It's like the more we learn, the less we understand.
Exactly. And it raises so many new questions. If this was Carl Webb, what was he doing in Adelaide? Why the fake name? And most importantly, why the code?
The code still bugs me. It's like it holds the key to everything, but we just can't unlock it.
It really is the ultimate enigma.
And to this day, the South Australia police still haven't officially closed the case.
It just goes to show you some mysteries never really die.
It's become a part of Australian folklore. People are still fascinated by it.
Yeah. His grave in Adelaide just says unknown man. But people leave flowers there all the time.
Like they're paying their respects to a ghost.
It's a powerful image, isn't it? The Somerton Man has become this symbol of the unknown, the unknowable.
And it's inspired so much. Books, podcasts, even an episode of Black Mirror. This case just won't go away.
And the theories keep coming. Just last year, someone suggested that Carl Webb might have been involved in some shady business, maybe the black market, and that someone poisoned him to tie up loose ends.
So even with a potential ID, people are still trying to crack the code, metaphorically and literally.
Yeah, some say it's a suicide note. Others say it's a complex cipher, a message from a spy agency. Who knows?
Maybe it's just a random string of letters. Or maybe it's a masterpiece of code making that we just haven't figured out yet. It's crazy to think about.
It really is. But at its core, the story of the Somerton Man is about our need to understand, to make sense of the world, even when it throws us curveballs.
We want answers. We want to know who this guy was, why he died, what it all means. But sometimes the mystery is all we have.
And sometimes that's enough.
So after all this, what do you think? Who was the Somerton Man? Was he a Cold War spy, a man running from his past, or something else entirely? We may never know for sure. But one thing's for certain, the Somerton Man and that cryptic note will continue to haunt us for years to come. It's a reminder that even in our modern world, some secrets remain hidden, some mysteries endure, and that's pretty darn fascinating.
It is, isn't it? And it makes you wonder, how many other Somerton Men are out there? How many other unsolved mysteries are just waiting to be uncovered?
That's a thought to ponder.